All right, good afternoon. Happy Wednesday, April the 8th. Do a better job of keeping up with days of the week because I do this. So I hope you watch and I hope these are beneficial. So keywords we're going to solve, and we're going to write our answer in simplest form. Something else important would be the operation within each problem. I think that'd be a big deal for us to pay attention to. As far as red flags, I would certainly say that in simplest form is very much a red flag, and even the operations within each problem, simply because it switches every single time, and sometimes our brains can get into this rhythm of I just did addition, so I'm going to do it again, and that rote practice mindset, and that's just not where we are. So there's that. So for skills needed today, I need to be able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. I also need to be able to simplify fractions. So for my strategy, I'm simply going to take each problem one at a time. Okay, so here we go. Now this daily math doesn't say no calculator, but I think it's really good practice for us to not use a calculator with operations that involve fractions. So 4/5 and 2/10. In order to add fractions, they have to have a common denominator. So there'll be another skill to find a common denominator. So 4/5 and 2/10. 5 and 10's least common multiple would be 10. So I'm going to take 4/5. I'm going to multiply it by something to give it a denominator of 10. And then since 2/10 already has it, I don't have to worry about that one. So 5 times what? I did it right the first time. 5 times what is 10? Well, it's 2. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do the numerator. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10/10 reduces to 1. So the answer to number 1 is 1. So looking at number 2, 3/5 minus 1/4. Again, to add or subtract, I have to find a common denominator. The least common multiple between 5 and 4 would be 20. So 3/5 times something is going to give me a fraction out of 20, and 1/4 times something is going to give me a fraction out of 20. 5 times what gives me 20? Well, it's 4. Whatever I do in the denominator, I have to do in the numerator. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times what gives me 20? Well, it's 5. Whatever I do in the denominator, I have to do in the numerator, so 5/12. I remember then that I am subtracting. So 12 minus 5 is 7/20. 7/20 will not reduce because 7 is odd and 20 is even, and they don't have any multiples or factors other than 1 in common. To multiply fractions, remember you just multiply straight across. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 5 is 15. 2/15 will not reduce, so there's my answer. And division. Remember, I don't divide fractions. I keep, change, flip. Okay? So now I'm going to multiply straight across. 3 times 10 is 30. 4 times 6 is 24. This will reduce. They are both even numbers. And as I look at it really closely, I see that they're actually both multiples of 6. 30 divided by 6 gives me 5. 24 divided by 6 gives me 4. So 5/4 or 1 1/4. Remember, in algebra, we actually kind of prefer the improper fraction because a lot of times we're dealing with slope. And it is so much easier to follow a slope fraction than a slope that is a mixed number. So, common mistakes: to add, subtract, multiply, or divide wrong, to not find a common denominator, to add straight across, subtract straight across, to try to divide straight across, those kinds of things. And then, of course, rating your level of understanding of the problem. And there you have Wednesday's Daily Math. Have a wonderful day.